Which companies raked in the most revenue from AI over the past 2 or 3 years? It was the consulting giants like McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. Why? Because companies were scrambling to determine how to integrate generative AI. But now the landscape has shifted. From market research and report writing to crafting slide decks, clients can now use the deep research capabilities of AI agents to replace a significant chunk of what consultants used to do. With AI agents getting smarter by the day, do companies still need to hire consultants? Hello, I'm Ba Sojin from Tea Times. Since the dawn of Gen AI, consulting firms have been the hidden winners. You can blame it on the FOMO triggered by generative AI. For the past few years, pretty much every enterprise has been obsessed with finding ways to leverage this technology. Whether to innovate or simply not to get left behind, adopting AI became mandatory. Everyone was asking, how do we integrate Gen AI into our business? Naturally, they needed experts to answer that billion-dollar question. That's exactly where Gen AI became the gift consultants had been waiting for. Just as the digital transformation hype was cooling down, the wave of AI transformation, or AX, came crashing in, ushering in a new golden age for the industry. It started with educating boards and C-suites looking to prioritize Gen AI. Then came the flood of requests, customer service chatbots, data integration, building enterprise AI agents, you name it. The demand for AI advisory and projects skyrocketed. So while OpenAI, Perplexity, and Google were burning through massive cash piles for development, the ones actually cashing in were the big consulting firms. They moved fast, assembling AI teams, hiring thousands of AI consultants, and deploying frameworks and roadmaps to guide clients through their AI strategies. Accenture led the pack. In fiscal year 2023, their Gen AI bookings were around $300 million. Fast forward to 2024, and that number jumped to a staggering $3 billion in projected AI revenue. By 2025, those bookings are expected to hit $5.9 billion. For context, OpenAI generated $3.7 billion in revenue in 2024, but posted a $5 billion operating loss. Essentially, OpenAI did the heavy lifting, but Accenture took home the paycheck. And it's not just Accenture. BCG hit a record-breaking $13.5 billion in revenue in 2024, up 10% year over year. They reported that 20% of that revenue came directly from AI advisory work. They expect that figure to climb to 40% by 2026. McKinsey also hit $16 billion in revenue in 2024, with Gen AI playing a significant role in driving those numbers. In the first half of 2024 alone, McKinsey executed about 400 Gen AI projects. Currently, about 40% of their workload revolves around Gen AI and tech advisory. The consulting industry itself has been one of the fastest adopters of Gen AI. For consultants, time is money, and Gen AI is the ultimate tool for maximizing efficiency within the same billable hours. Take McKinsey, for example. In 2023, they developed an internal Gen AI chatbot named Lily. They trained it on the firm's entire accumulated IP, including over 100,000 documents and interviews. When an employee queries Lily, it identifies key points and retrieves the most relevant internal documents, or even connects them with the in-house expert on that topic. The uptake was instant. Over 75% of McKinsey's workforce uses Lily for summarizing docs, analyzing data, and brainstorming. The average usage is about 17 times a week per person. Internally, they estimate that Lily has cut down work hours by roughly 30%. Beyond Lily, they have platforms where consultants can build their own custom AI agents. There are also domain-specific agents that keep consultants updated with the latest intel on specific companies within an industry. One of the most popular agents is a bot that tweaks writing tone to sound more McKinsey-esque. In total, McKinsey has deployed around 12,000 AI agents across their operations. Similarly, BCG rolled out ChatGPT Enterprise to all 33,000 global employees in 2023. Since then, employees have built over 18,000 custom GPTs for things like doc summarization and automated email responses. BCG also developed its own Gen AI tools. The crowd favorite is Dexter, a presentation slide editor. Built upon a library of nearly 900 proprietary slide templates, Dexter allows consultants to rapidly generate client-ready decks. Adoption has been swift, with roughly 40% of the staff utilizing it weekly, sparking a running joke tinged with genuine anxiety that the tool might eventually replace them. Deloitte is also leveraging its own suite of AI agents. They utilize Sidekick to handle routine tasks like coding and emails, but their latest breakthrough is Zora AI. This model is engineered to mimic the reasoning of a human consultant, specifically fine-tuned for complex verticals such as finance and marketing. PwC has also deployed over 250 internal AI agents, managing them all through a centralized platform called Agent OS. As Gen AI starts replacing internal consultant roles, headcount reductions are following suit. McKinsey's workforce dropped from over 45,000 in 2023 to about 40,000 in 2025, a cut of roughly 10%. Accenture is pouring massive resources into reskilling its workforce for the AI era. However, for those deemed unlikely to bridge the technical gap, the company is initiating exit procedures. According to press reports from September 2025, over 11,000 employees were laid off in a span of just 3 months, with the firm warning that staff who fail to keep up with the AI curriculum could be next. Historically, consulting and tech have grown hand in hand. Silicon Valley builds the tech, and the big consulting firms help enterprises deploy it. It was a symbiotic relationship. A prime example is PwC and Bain & Company signing up as resellers for ChatGPT Enterprise the moment it launched. They're essentially acting as OpenAI's sales force, selling and implementing the software during their consulting engagements. But Gen AI has given clients a new perspective unlike any previous tech. Clients realize that if used correctly, AI can produce analysis in 10 minutes that rivals what a team of junior consultants would take weeks or months to deliver. This sparked a fundamental question. Why are we paying millions and waiting months for these big firms? The consulting industry traditionally bills based on headcount and hours spent. But consider this. What if you could replicate that same million-dollar analysis in-house simply by leveraging AI? It means clients could either bypass consultants entirely or at the very least drastically curtail their engagement timelines. Under either scenario, consulting revenues are bound to take a significant hit. Bloomberg even reported that some PwC clients are actively pushing for fee reductions. They argue that if consultants are leveraging AI agents to slash their working hours, the clients deserve to fairly share in that efficiency dividend. As the adoption of AI permeates the industry, the long-standing dominance of traditional consulting firms is beginning to waver. With AI boosting efficiency, small boutique consulting firms are becoming surprisingly competitive. Major consulting firms have traditionally operated on a pyramid structure where a single senior consultant is supported by at least 4 juniors to deliver a project. But with AI agents handling the grunt work, you don't need the juniors. A few senior consultants can now band together and start their own firm without the overhead. A prime example is Unity Advisory, founded by former partners from top-tier accounting and consulting firms. Instead of the pyramid, they built their own AI tools and hired only senior consultants. We're also seeing startups that pitch themselves as pure AI consultancies. They provide platforms that function virtually as an in-house consulting firm, allowing clients to commission projects and generate reports on demand. For instance, Dialogue, which recently raised $6 million, uses AI to automate market research. It autonomously designs the research study, conducts simultaneous interviews with hundreds of participants, and distills actionable insights. Unlike traditional firms that rely on project-based billing, Dialogue sets itself apart with a SaaS subscription model. Given that market research is a bread-and-butter revenue stream for giants like McKinsey and BCG, the proliferation of such solutions could become a major headache. Enter Xavier AI, a startup billing itself as the pioneer of AI strategy consulting. Founded by a former McKinsey consultant, it markets itself as a McKinsey killer or McKinsey in a box. You ask it something like, "Give me a strategy to boost domestic sales for product X," and in minutes it generates a multi-page PowerPoint deck that looks just like a professional deliverable. These startups are carving out a new market tier, primarily targeting mid-sized enterprises that have traditionally been priced out of the big three. We're seeing a fragmentation of services with specialized startups emerging for every vertical, from strategy and executive coaching to pricing and cost optimization. But it doesn't end there. The final boss has entered the chat. OpenAI is moving directly into consulting. In July 2025, they launched a consulting arm dedicated to delivering bespoke AI models for enterprises and government agencies. They've moved beyond merely selling off-the-shelf models to fine-tuning them on proprietary data and deploying their own researchers to directly architect custom applications for clients. The price tag, anywhere from a minimum of $10 million to hundreds of millions. Their recent $200 million contract with the US Department of Defense is a prime example of this service. Widespread speculation suggests OpenAI's move was catalyzed by the meteoric rise of Palantir. Co-founded by Peter Thiel, Palantir is scaling rapidly by displacing traditional consulting with its proprietary AI and data analytics platforms. In fact, OpenAI reportedly poached several researchers from Palantir while prepping this service. However, the use of AI by consulting firms hasn't been without controversy. There was a major embarrassment for Deloitte when they used ChatGPT-4 for a report commissioned by the Australian government. They fell for hallucinations, citing fake court rulings and non-existent academic papers. Over 20 errors were found. The contract was worth 440,000 Australian dollars, and they had to refund nearly 100,000 of it. The market data and best practices that consultants use to monopolize are now accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Clients expect more from big firms. They want that unique human insight. But as these firms rely more on AI tools, that human touch fades. It might just encourage clients to stop outsourcing and solve problems in-house. Furthermore, if tech titans like OpenAI or Palantir pivot toward a comprehensive AI-as-a-service model, constructing bespoke solutions directly within client ecosystems, the bridging role that consultants traditionally played risks becoming increasingly obsolete. As tech and consulting merge, the question remains, what advantage do traditional consulting firms really have left? That's the big question facing the industry today. That wraps up today's episode. If you found this insightful, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.